John Mark D. Magpatok, and I am the first reporter for Chapter 5, the Sexual Division of Labor. So, introduction. So, understanding the women's status and roles in the society that requires further understanding of the sexual division of labor, of what work women and men do inside and outside of the home. So, work or trabaho is often equated with an activity which generates cash income. These conceptualizations of work has rendered women's domestic and subsistence activities virtually invisible and recorded on formal statistics on work and assumed to be unimportant. So, in here, this is the division of labor wherein the women and the work of men and women are actually separated. So, as we all know, in our society or in our Filipino culture, so women are actually expected to be on the home. So they are expected to work in for child rearing or for child care, and they are not. They have only limited chances or opportunities that are required from the economy. So while men have the are while men are actually responsible for the labor, they are expected to be the breadwinner. They have more chances on the economy or in the market to work with, and also men are also tasked to provide a financial assistance to the family. Um, men's work are always recorded from publicly, which are very significant in our society, while women are actually working in private, wherein their work are not really transparent, wherein some public figures or some public eyes are not really into them, or are not really the work of the women are not really marked or being recorded by the society, because their work is always in inside the home. But nowadays, actually, there are some women who are working outside, or are being immigrated to another country by doing domestic works or labors. This there are some women who are actually in the what did you say this rich families, or they are in prosper prosperous family. So some women who are prosperous or have the career or have a job, they actually hire some women who are actually being being transferred with a task but by their employer, which is the woman or also or a man. So in here, there are some women who are actually having an income by doing domestic works or labors when it comes from child rearing or child care. So there, so let's go to here. So, plain housewives are assumed to be idle, walang trabaho, o hindi nagtatrabaho unless they enter the wage economy. So, so this is the type of phrase wherein the women or being a housewife is being discriminated, wherein being a housewife is really difficult when it comes to caring for the child. There are times where they are working from 8 to 7 hours or more than that, and the society doesn't even recognize how they work, or they didn't even registered it as a work, unless they have really wages or have a salary about that kind of work. So how no matter how hard the labor you have delivered, or no matter how many works you have done, or how vigorous you are in working with your task with your family, it is still not registered as a work because it is not they are not being waged or being they don't have any salary to really to showcase to really show that they are really working. So in our economy or in our culture, it is very people always tend to see that people who are working always have the salary or an income within the family. So that's how they register those people who are working, or we could say the work, because work, we register work as a source of income or salary. So next, the definition of the problem. So what is sexual division of labor? So sexual division of labor refers to the differentiation in the allocation of male and female labor in the home, in the workplace, and in the workplace. So labor is understood in terms not only of paid work performed for the market, but also of unpaid domestic work, which is performed largely by women. Domestic work is central to the understanding of the dynamics of the sexual division of labor. So in here, actually, labor is always executed by the women largely because be being a housewife or being in or working or having child rearing or caring for the child is really strenuous work. It really you really have to spend more time in order for your family to be cared of. You are going to prepare for their lunch, for their dinner, for their snacks or other requirements or inquiries needed by their work or by the school of the children. So in here, men are always there are differentiation of labor in our society, which is men are always expected to do a labor wherein they can income some money or wages, they can earn some money. So in for girls, they are always expected to when they are doing reproduction, so they're expected to care for the child. They must rear their children and also provide services for the family, while the while the male, which are expected to be strong or dignified and are expected to be the breadwinner of the family, so they must always provide finances. They must always provide financial assistance for the family. They are the ones who are giving them the money to sustain for the living or to survive for the day. So domestic work. So that's it. Domestic work is actually but nowadays there are some men who are always also doing some chores that are being tasked for the women. Because there are some women who are called the career women, who has more wages than men and has more opportunities or more promotions than men's work. So there are some women who are that. So that's why some men who are not really capable of are actually inferior from their wives. So they are so the task of the wife are also transferred by the men, because so men are also are doing some tasks that are done by women. So but actually that is not being discriminated nowadays, because there are some women who are really working hard or some following careers, but that is not very common, because the very common or the very most expected role of men are to be career pursuers. Men are expected to be labor opportunity seekers. They are expected to to be a leader, to be dignified. They're expected to provide a financial assistance for the family. They're expected to pursue their career. They're expected to have a higher wages than women. So that's why in here they address the sexual division of labor. So there are really differentiation about men and women's labor. So, why is the sexual division of labor a problem? So, the sexual division of labor is often viewed as the material basis of women's oppression. It is an important problem for a feminist analysis because it perpetuates male domination and female subordination. So, here it is really a problem because women's opportunities or chances to provide for their family or to really exert themselves are actually being oppressed. They are being limited. So the labor that they wanna the works the or the chances that they would gonna do are actually being limited. So they are being they are being avoided or they are being stamped by the division of labor because men always have the dominance when it comes to labor. So when it comes to career options or career opportunities, they have men are always expected to or being chosen by the economy because men are you know that it is very common. Men are always expected to be strong, to be mentally vigor, or and men are always expected to have more ambition than women. So here, female are always they are becoming a subordinate or they are becoming a servant for the family. They always provide services for the family, which is the very problem in our society because women are not given a chance to showcase what they really are. But nowadays, there are some women who are actually a career woman, what we call a career woman, which are men and women are actually providing financial assistance for the family, wherein they are only wherein they are hiring they are hiring a person or a woman to actually rear for their child. Also, so that's it. So here are two spheres of work in capitalist societies. So the public sphere or the sphere of the market or economic production. So male preserved because it is controlled largely by men. Private sphere of the family, the realm of domestic reproduction, female preserved since women are responsible for housework and children. So here it goes. So there are two spheres of capitalist two spheres of work in capitalist society. So male are always in a public sphere wherein they are being transparent during their work. They are being viewed by the culture or the society as the money provider, as in or as a financial provider. Whereas from the female are not actually viewed. Are not actually showcased or being significant in the public societies because women are always locked up or isolated in the house wherein they are providing the labor there, wherein they are giving services for the family, wherein they always care for the child. They are the ones responsible for the houseworks. So there are two kinds of domestic reproductive work. So replenishing of people through food and rest. So actually, this is the work of a woman, wherein they are expected to be a cook for the family. They always cook for the family, to cook for the dinner, for lunch, for breakfast. So that's it, and so So all of that, and then the bearing and rearing of child. So women are always expected to care for their child, or and they are the ones who will guide their children, or they are the ones who um, to concert with their growth. So women are always expected to do the houseworks, wherein men are always expected to be the breadwinners. So in here, actually, this all of my topics are very explainable, wherein it is very observatory in our surroundings, wherein women are actually are always viewed as housewives, wherein they don't have any salary or work, because that's their task or responsibility as a woman, because that is how the society viewed them. Where and men are always expected to do things that are very big, are very ambitious, or men are always career pursuers. They are always dominant when it comes to wages, or in labor, or in strength. So that's how the division of labor are. So they are being separate. They are being differentiated by their gender roles. So actually, that's all of my report. I hope you have learned something about the sexual division of labor, about my topics. So, in short, men and women are always perceived to be different with each other, wherein the strength of women, or the chances, the opportunities of women are different from men, wherein men are always expected to have higher rate of labor, higher rate of income or salary. They are always expected to be dominant, wherein female are always a servant to the family, wherein they always provide services and services and care for the family. So that's all. Thank you, and God bless.
So now, let's proceed to the salient features of the problem. So the first problem is the production-reproduction distinction. So at the base of sexual segregation, sex rules, and the sexual division of labor is the production reproduction, and it is divided by the two realms. Is number one is the realm of production belongs to the domestic or private sphere, and is seen to be the primary domain of women. So this is talks about the women's role or work at, especially in the home. They work as a house. They're working in a household chores and other things. So the second realm is the economic production or public sphere is largely occupied and dominated by men and is often considered as a male domain or masculine preserved. Women everywhere are primarily viewed as homemakers, men as the main economic providers or breadwinners. Popular attitudes towards men and women's roles are best expressed by common labels people use. So they dictating a man or a woman's role. Just like if you are a woman, then you will be doing the household chores, and if you are a man, then you will do the strenuous work of the men. Work in as they are defined a women as a too emotional or deviant, and they are not applicable for any positions or higher positions in the work. So the fifth and the last problem is the sexual division of labor in the female dominated industries and in the putting out system. Women workers in the female dominated industries are thought of as more docile, ready to accept low wages and having manual dexterity. They are also seen as more patient, more tolerant of routine work, and are more easily controlled. And that is for my report.
Okay, my name is Jusel Esrama, and my topic is to discuss about the mechanism by which the sexual division of labor is perpetuated. So as we all know that the sexual division of labor uh, is the delegation of different tasks between males and females, and it happens when the work is divided on the basis of gender, So there are 5 important mechanisms by which the sexual division of labor is perpetuated. So first is about the household. The first mechanism is the household structure and the ideology of the family. Second is the economic requirements of the capital accumulation. And third is the state and economic policies that support capitalist accumulation and gender ideology. And fourth is the educational system, and last is the mass media. So first, we tackle about the household structure and the ideology of the family. So work is often defined in formal studies as any activities which yield cash income. So as we all know that in order to sustain our daily living in a family, any member of the family or the father, basically the father, has to find job in order to have income and to sustain the needs of their family members. So the head of the household is assumed to be male, even if empirical realities show that women are increasingly becoming single heads of household because of separation arising from migration and marital problems. So meaning to say that ang lalaki joy naagoy akong kuan ba akong papel para motrabaho in order to sustain the needs of the family. Third is the construction of a family form in which the father or the male household head is supposedly responsible for the financial support of dependent wife and the children, has also militated against the demands for equal pay and equal right to work for women. Next is learning about the proper and more suitable work for men and women usually begins at home. So meaning to say that to view or to reflect the ideal form of the family is that in the house we all know that the job or the responsibility of a man is to do job that is very hard, or sometimes have more effort or have more skills or strong skills in order to do a job, unlike women is just those jobs that is fit for them, like ang mga bayi is mga labara, maluto, muna siya, pero muna siya view of sa ato society nga muna ginabuhat sa mga men and muna gibuhat sa mga women. So meaning to say ang men is for strong mga pambuhatan and women is just for dili kayo bugat nga mga pambuhatan. So next is girls are taught by their mothers how to do good housekeeping, cooking and mothering, and these are often reflected in the games they play. So as we all experience in our childhood that our parents taught us the way we are going to do in the future, like sa karon. So as what I have said earlier, that ang mga laki is gituduan ko na sila pag bukat og mga bulhaton nga bugat-bugat, din ang mga bayi is just mga laba inana. So sa atong pagkabata nagagibot ang muna atong ginambuhat sa mga pagdula-dula nga mo playta. Ang atong role sa atong mga dula is playta as bayi. Kung mabayi ka, imong role is a mother nga maghugas-hugas ka, maglaba, pero malaki ka ikaw mong trabaho, magbungkal-bungkal ka dito or inana. So and boys on the other hand are are exempted from the most daily chores and are taught carpentry, painting, and how to help around uh, around the house occasionally and when necessary. So as what I have said earlier, that muna siya gitulo sa mga laki para kuan ba matrain sila daan, makabalo sila daan nga in the future mo ni ilahang role. So next is, so the next mechanism is the economic requirements of capital accumulation. So women are important to the operation of the capitalist labor market as part of the employed workforce and the reserve army of labor. Second is job segregation by sex weakens women's position on the labor market. It reinforces lower wages for women and ensures their relegation to the domestic sphere. And last is women work is generally found in cheaper wages market. So in this mechanism, it shows that men are paid higher than women. It depends on their job structure, because as we all know that men has more jobs to do than women in past time. And so in the early stages of economic development, there are gender discrimination is becoming prevalent, and the substitution effect of capital accumulation, which raises the cost of children rearing, is dominated by income effect. So the growth rate of population increases with income. So when the degree of gender wage discrimination, when it starts to decline, the increased cost of child rearing induces families to invest more in the human capital of children and the growth rate of population. So in this mechanism, in this economic requirements of capital accumulation, it shows that the women has less income than what men has. Third is the third mechanism is about the state ideology with supports gender ideology and the sexual division of labor. So the work of women in both domestic and other non-wage activities is underestimated or ignored in the official social and economic statistics and development planning. So meaning to say that the government, supposed to be the government has less programs or less laws that reinforce the women's capability of doing more than or doing the same with men, and they have less reinforcement in order for them to do that job, in order for them also to have an income that is the same or more or more than the wages that the main income has. So the last mechanism is education and mass media. So education and mass media, it reinforces gender divisions. So in school, young girls take subjects such as home economics, cooking, and cosmetology. So as what I have experienced before when I was in high school, mostly in our TLE class, or specifically TLE class, we women are enrolled in carpentry and other courses that is relevant to men, and the women are enrolled in cooking and cooking or dressmaking. So that is that is the ideal way of living before, especially in school. So boys, on the other hand, are taught things big men should do like plumbing and carpentry. So just as what I have said earlier. So in physical education, the girls play house while the boys play more physical games. So it is very understandable that in physical education, mas priority nga uh, dili kayo pahaguan ang mga bayi kaysa mga laki. So next is mass media also reinforce such uh, gendered notions of what women and women should do and are capable of doing inside and outside home. And last is the role of women as housemaker and the men as breadwinner are emphasized in advertisements which self-product targeting particular buyers for specific income brackets. So just like for example, when promoting a brand in television, it shows that it really shows the ideal doing of ideal way of doing and ideal way of living, just like the separation of how women do and how men do. So in mass media, it really impacts the gender gender equality or gender separation of men and women in our society. So that's all for my assigned topic, and thank you and God bless.
Okay, so let's proceed to the e-solution to the problem of sexual division of labor. So education. Both boys and girls should have equal opportunities for educational development regardless of their social background. They should um, they should be prepared by the schools for a society in which men and women share equal responsibilities in work, family, and social life. Informal and adult education programs must be developed to eliminate illiteracy. Discrimination and inequalities in access to both child and adult education must be eliminated. So boys and girls will have equal opportunities to realize their full human rights and contribute to the benefit from economic, social culture. And this will also ensure a rapid advancement of a nation and a political development. And also to all our teachers and students who have part to play ensuring that schools are free of violence and discrimination. Second one is the work and employment. The right of a woman paid employment must be recognized in all societies. They must be given full access to economic life. All forms of discrimination in relation to their access to jobs and professions, education, promotion, and job security must be eliminated. The principle of equal pay for work of equal value must be implemented in all areas of work. Maternity should not be a cause of discrimination in any field. So this means that every gender has equality in the workplace. Katong equal pay benefits, equal opportunities for promotions and career progression, and equal consideration of needs. And also, we also have called the maternity leave. For example, kanang maternity leave pag manganak ang isa ka babayi. So we have that. Next is trade unions. So trade unions policies and programs must include the demands and aspirations of women workers. Training, particularly leadership and skills training and education programs, should make women a priority. All education programs at all union levels must include discussions on women rights and problems. So, women have always been central to trade unions and the fight for a better society. So, this section is about women work with all parts of union to end discrimination and campaign for equality. It works for improvement to women's rights in the workplace and in the wider community. So all over this discussion is all about women rights and problems are a priority. Next is media. Policies with regards to advertisements, print, and broadcast media should actively promote a positive image of women's roles and contributions to society. Sexist ads and programs which degrade women and discriminate against them must be subject to public regulation. So, all the governments, educational institutions, non government organizations are responsible for the prevention of all forms of discrimination against women. So, it was stated here sexist ads and programs which degrade women and discriminate against them must be subject to public regulation. So, when you say sexist, it is a prejudice or discrimination based on sex or gender, especially in women. So, we have to be more aware and dili pwede mo pakita og mga negative image of women sa media, but kato lang yung mga positive image of women para sa roles and contributions to the society. Next is the rural development and technology. Differential impact of rural development programs and technological changes in agriculture must be carried out with the objective of uncovering the nature of alternative programs so as not to marginalize women or reinforce their traditional roles in household and agricultural systems. Includes the women's interests as farm workers who deserve equal access to land ownership, credit, and agricultural services. So, rural women are key agents for development. They play a catalytic role towards achievement of transformational economic, environmental, and social changes required for sustainable development. Since women play a key role in food production and form a large proportions of agriculture workforce globally. So, by empowering them is essential not only for well of individuals but also for families and rural communities, but also for overall economic productivity. But this limited access to have credit in agricultural services, access to land, ownership, education, and even in healthcare. So these are among the challenges they face. So in women empowerment, it will be given equal resources. So women would contribute much more. And with the help of women in the agricultural labor, this could reduce the number of undernourished people. Number 6 is social research and development planning. Data generated from the field usually become the basis of development plans from marginalized areas. There is need for social science researchers to rethink their concept of work, household head, and similar categories which ignore women's roles and contributions to both domestic and reproduction and production. Empowering women is important to the social research and development planning of families, communities, and country. When women are living safe, fulfilled, and productive lives, they can reach their full potential, contributing skills to the workforce and can raise happier and healthier family and children. So when it comes to social research, women brings unique perspectives to research and scientific conversation. And that's all. Thank you.